Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're talking about how to combine your chart lists and your chart styles, how to apply all those different chart settings, indicators, overlays, color schemes, all that good stuff to a group of symbols that you've saved into a chart list. Now, whether you're working with your portfolio that you've saved into a chart list, maybe a watch list, even some market evaluation lists, in any case, this is going to help you get more out of your chart lists. And we're doing it in SharpCharts, we're doing it in ACP. So in either world, we're going to show you how to get more out of those lists and those styles. Plus, we're going to talk briefly about our holiday special going on right now, up to 2 free months of Stock Charts for just a couple more weeks. So lots to cover on the show today. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into this site, dive into the features, show you around the tools, and ultimately show you how to get more value out of Stock Charts. This is a great episode to do it as we dig into process a little bit, talk about chart lists and chart styles, how to combine those two and actually apply all of those chart settings that you've created and saved in those chart styles to a group of symbols that you've saved to a list. So lots of workflow talk today. It's going to be a good one as we help you get more out of those chart lists and those chart styles. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. If you are new to the show, welcome. Remember, we do this every Friday. So every Friday, we're taking a look at the site, diving into some of those tools and features, and ultimately, like I said, trying to help you get more value out of Stock Charts, whether you are a member, whether you joined us and subscribe to Stock Charts, or even if you're using our free tools. In either case, you are going to get more value out of Stock Charts by tuning in to Stock Charts in Focus every Friday. So 5 p.m. Eastern time up on the live channel, but also on our YouTube channel after that, and of course the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of ways to watch. Now, before we get into the meat of today's show, I'm really excited to talk to you about chart lists and chart styles, how to combine all that stuff. But as I mentioned in the open, I want to make sure that you are aware right now, we've got our holiday special going on. Up to 2 free months of Stock Charts when you sign up for a new account or renew your existing membership. So in either case, if you're a member and you want to get a sort of a discount off of your membership, you want to get some of our best pricing of the year, you can take advantage of this holiday special, actually extend your account out into the future. We're going to add on those 2 free months if you sign up for 12. So if you are a member, this is one of the best times to renew your account. Again, up to 2 free months if you sign up for 12, if you extend your membership for 12 months. And if you extend your membership for 6 months, we're going to give you 1 free. Now, if you're not currently a member, this special still applies. You can actually still take advantage of this. This really is one of the best times of the year to sign up. You might have heard that we did our Cyber Monday special just a couple of weeks ago. That is our absolute best pricing of the year. But our holiday special that's running just this month, just for another couple of weeks, not too far off from that holiday or that Cyber Monday deal that we did a couple of weeks ago. So as we like to tell people, this is the best time of the year to sign up. If you're interested in the Stock Charts membership, go ahead, jump onto that free trial. That'll actually give you a free month at the beginning. You can test out some of our members only tools and features and everything. But once you're ready, you can actually sign up for that holiday special and lock in that sort of best pricing of the year, get that discount, get those free months that we're offering for this holiday special. So a couple of different ways to save this month. Now, if we jump over to the site, let's do that now. Here we are on the site. We've got this green banner running across the top of most of our pages across the site. So if you have seen that, you can always take a look at that. You can click here to renew your existing membership if you're a member, or if you are a free user, you're not currently a Stock Charts member, this button is going to say something a little bit different, but it's also going to take you to the same place. Now, if you don't see this green banner, you can always go to stockcharts.com/special to take advantage of the special. So here's our informational page. It's got all the details for you, everything that we're offering. You've got the big green sign up button there in the middle of the page. So again, in either case, whether you're a member or whether you're thinking about becoming a member, you can always go to stockcharts.com/special to learn more. We've got tons of info about the different membership levels. You can see how much you can save, and you can see those deals. 12 months and you're going to get 2 free, or sign up for 6 and you're going to get 1 free. So just remember that this page is here for you. stockcharts.com/special, or look for those green banners at the top of the website if you haven't closed those out. If you do X out of one of those, it will actually go away. So you might not see that if you've closed that banner in the past. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's jump into the meat of today's show. We've got a great show today talking about process, talking about some charting workflow, and specifically taking a look at how to work with your chart lists and your chart styles, how to sort of combine those two all important features of StockCharts membership. Really, when I think about the two things that make StockCharts fly, when I think about the two most important things that you need to spend some time setting up, spend some time learning, it's chart lists and it's chart styles. Now, just to get the terminology out of the way, in case anyone is not familiar, chart lists are basically watch lists. Some other sites and other platforms refer to them as watch lists. Those are the lists, though, that you save charts into. Now, you can save stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, indexes, cryptos, anything that we cover, you can save into a chart list, and you can save specific chart settings with it. Now, chart styles are all of those specific settings. So when we say chart style, what we mean is all of the different settings that go into a chart. So the indicators that you're using, the overlays that you're using, the size of the chart, the color scheme of the chart, the layout of the chart, everything that you've done to set up a chart, that can be saved into what we call a chart style. So they're effectively templates. If you think about these two, you think about chart lists as kind of just lists where you can store things, and you can think about chart styles as chart templates that you can come back to in the future. So a chart style doesn't actually include a symbol. Again, it's just a template for a chart, and you basically put a symbol into that. Once you want to actually save a chart and a symbol together, those get saved into a chart list. So now that we've got a little bit of terminology out of the way, let's jump over to our members dashboard, jump into a chart list, and we'll talk about how to combine some of these different things. So we are starting here on the members dashboard. I'm going to give this chart list button a click. Of course, by the way, if you are not familiar with this page, I like to call it the heart and soul of your StockCharts accounts. The first page that you see when you log into StockCharts, and it has so much here for you. Tons of market analysis things, market overview, the sector summary, market movers, all this stuff is customizable too. We've done shows on this in the past, but there is a ton to explore on the members dashboard. So for any of you free users watching who are thinking about signing up for a membership, maybe thinking about taking advantage of that holiday special, these are some of the things that you can access as a StockCharts member. Anyways, with that out of the way, we are down here on our chart lists section, and we're going to jump into what I like to call my tier 1 watch list. So we're going to stop in the edit view as sort of our first stop on today's tour of kind of how to work with chart styles and chart lists. Before we do that though, I want to show you what the charts in this list look like. So here is a chart list. We've got 10 stocks saved in this that are on my personal watch list, 10 stocks that I'm keeping sort of a close eye on. Now, if we scroll down here, we're in chart book, which means we're looking at one chart at a time here in the SharpCharts world. You can see what these charts look like. So in this case, the chart style that I'm using is the relative strength line up at the top. This is the symbol versus VTI, the total market. This is a relative strength line, helps me track the symbol versus the total market. I've got things like the full quote turned on here. So I've got a sort of a bigger header with a little more data, brings in things like market cap and the scooter rank, PE, that kind of thing. I've got this set with the Murphy color scheme. We've got our price panel here with a couple of different moving averages and volume bars there at the bottom, kind of faded out. And then we've got the RSI at the bottom. And I've done a little bit of trickery here to actually get a green horizontal line and a red horizontal line on that RSI indicator as well. So this is the chart style that I use as my default. This is kind of my go-to chart style. And everything in this list is saved with this chart style. So you can see if I click on to the next chart, we're looking at cars.com now. You can see that the chart looks very, very similar. It is a different symbol, but it is the same chart style. So everything in this list uses this chart style. So Let's say you've got a watch list, okay? And you're looking at it in a specific format. You've saved this watch list, all of the charts in this watch list with a specific chart style. Let's say we're using sort of my default here with, again, the relative strength line, the RSI, and a couple of moving averages. But let's say I wanted to take that watch list, those 10 symbols on that watch list, and I wanted to view all those symbols with a different chart style. Maybe I've got we've got actually a moving average focus one that we'll use on today's show. Maybe even take a look at a sort of a specialized Bollinger Bands chart style that I use. But let's say you've got some other chart style that you want to apply to everything in this list. You want to review this same set of symbols in this chart list, but you want to do it with a different chart setup. Well, there are a couple easy ways to do that. And again, that's what we're going to do on today's show here in SharpCharts and then also in ACP. So the first way to do that is to actually jump over to the edit page for this chart list. So here we are in this chart list. We can get to that edit view in a couple of different ways. We can open up this view list as menu, hit edit right there, or we can look for the big blue button and that'll take us over to the edit page. So here are all of the 10 symbols that are in this chart list. And again, let's say that we wanted to take all of these charts and we wanted to switch them over to a different chart style, different list of or different group of settings, different indicators, different overlays, that kind of thing. Well, here on the edit page, it's very, very easy to do that. All we've got to do is hit select all at the bottom. That's going to check all of the symbols in this list. So you don't actually have to go manually checking everything yourself. And then if we come down to the bottom, you can see this little purple paintbrush button. Now, when you hover over that, it says apply style to. So we're going to give that a click. That's going to open up this little window down below. And you can see in the label, change all the selected charts to one of your saved chart styles. So a very easy way to switch things over to a different chart style. I mentioned that moving average focus that we're going to use. This is a fun chart style that I like to use to help me stay on top of sort of the intermediate term trend and the long-term trend, keep me focused on those. So let's say I wanted to apply a different chart style to all of the charts in this list. I'll hit go. I've selected that chart style and here we go. I've now actually behind the scenes changed the chart style of all 10 things in this list. So if we jump back over to our chart book view, for instance, we can see that this chart now looks a little bit different. So here in this moving average focus chart, what I've actually done is sort of grayed out the price bars. And I've got the focus really on two key moving averages, the 50-day and the 200, the 50-day in red and the 200 in green. I do also have that relative strength line at the bottom, and I've actually got the 100-day sort of faded out there in orange as well. But you can see that now the chart style that's saved in this list has changed. And so we can do the exact same thing for all of these lists. Or all of these symbols, we can flip through and sort of review this list with a different view. Instead of looking at it with that first chart style that we were using with the RSI and the price relative line and a bunch of those different moving averages, now we're reviewing this list with a different style. Once we've done that, let's say we go through this entire list, we've reviewed it, and we want to switch it back to something else. Well, all we can do is jump over to that edit page. We can click all of those, open up that apply style to menu. And let's say we wanted to switch this again. We'll do something like that Bollinger Bands view that I mentioned before. Okay, so we've done the same thing. We'll actually jump over to 10 per page so we can see all of those kind of in one stacked view. So now, same kind of thing. We've changed that chart style again. Now we can review this list with a whole different set of indicators. So this is a great way to get more out of your charts, your chart styles, and your chart lists. It's really easy to switch these around. And actually what's interesting about some of the charts that we have in this list is you can see as long as the periods line up, so as long as you're not going from a daily chart to a weekly chart, your annotations will actually stick around even when you change the chart style. As long as the same sort of indicator or price bar setup is on that chart, we actually won't get rid of those annotations. We'll try to keep them around if we can. So in this case, you can see that I've actually got these annotations. They're sticking around on these charts as we flip through and change those chart styles. So now we're reviewing everything in this list with a couple of different views. We've still got our annotations on there, and it's really easy to change these. So we can continue to work with this list in a couple of different views without having to sort of create separate lists or manually enter different chart styles and different symbols every time. By using some of these apply style to all features, it's really easy to change everything in a list. And now let's say we reviewed this watch list in a couple of different sort of other chart styles that we want to see, and we actually want to get back to what we had at the very beginning. Well, we can select all, we can open this back up, and once again, we can scroll down and I can actually apply the chart style that we were using at the very beginning of the show. You can see that now we are back. We've actually set things back to the way they were. Our annotations have come back. Everything is saved again the way it was because we haven't changed the period of the chart. All of the charts that we were looking at here were daily charts. So everything has come back, and now we've kind of reset this list to exactly what it was before. So very easy to do this. Again, I find this is helpful in a couple of different instances. Let's say you've got a watch list full of stocks that you're keeping an eye on, and you've got a couple of different sort of chart configurations, sets of indicators, sets of overlays, different things that you want to use. So you can actually save those different configurations into different chart styles and then apply those to all the symbols in your watch list and kind of review that watch list in a couple of different ways. It makes it really easy to sort of bring different perspectives into the same list. So you can do that with a watch list. You can also do it with your portfolio. It's really easy to take all the stocks and ETFs, and mutual funds, whatever you own. You can put those into a chart list and then use different chart styles, apply them to all the different symbols in your portfolio chart list. And again, you can review all of the stocks and funds, all the securities that you own. You can review those in a couple of different ways from a couple of different perspectives with some of those different chart configurations. You could do the same thing with a list of indexes or a list of sort of market tracking ETFs. Let's say you've got things like the S&P 100, 500, 400, and 600. You've got mega caps, large caps, mid caps, and small caps all in one list, all those major S&P indexes. Well, maybe you want to review those in different configurations. Maybe you want to have one that's just focused on the price bars, and then you want to bring in a couple of different indicators. Then you maybe want to look at all those with Bollinger Bands on them or something like that. So you can create that chart list that's got those symbols in it and then apply all of your different chart styles to it and sort of go, flip from chart style to chart style to chart style. So a couple of easy ways to take advantage of some of these features. Now, there's one other place that you can do this, though, in SharpCharts. So that's what we're going to jump over to now. The same concept applies. We're going to take a chart list and we're going to apply styles to it and sort of flip through different chart styles. So we're actually going to jump over to, we'll actually use the actions menu here. We will jump over to the SharpCharts workbench. Now, what we were just looking at, if you're sort of getting used to StockCharts, maybe you're new to the platform, what we were just looking at was some chart list views, 10 per page, chart book, the edit view. Those are different views that you have for your chart lists. What we're looking at now is what we call the SharpCharts workbench. So this is probably one of the first pages that you came to when you first came to StockCharts. This is the page that's got your charts on it. It's got some interface up at the top for changing the symbol and the period. Also for working with your chart lists, which we'll touch on in just a second. But you've got your charts here, and then down below, you've got all the settings. So this is where you can really start to modify those charts. This is also where you can come to create those chart styles. So right here at the very top, kind of squeezed between these two gray sections, is a chart styles line. This is a menu that has all of your different chart styles in it, but you can also use these buttons right here: save as default, add new, replace, edit properties, and delete. You can use those controls to actually set up a chart with all the indicators and overlays, the size, the colors, all that stuff. Set it up exactly the way that you want it, and then add a new chart style right here. Or replace one, or change the name, or even delete one if you want. One other place that you do have to work with your chart styles is the menu on the left. So that little button, you can actually open that up. This is going to give you access to, again, all of your different chart styles, as well as some predefined chart styles that we've created at the bottom there. But this also gives you access to what we call style buttons. So there are, when this is closed, a list of buttons right over here that are sort of your go-tos. You can see in this case, we're using my default chart. That's actually the third one down. But you can take basically chart styles from your account and say, hey, this is a really important one for me. I want to set this as a style button so it's very easy to access. And then those will be accessible right here. So for instance, if we wanted to switch over to this ETF weekly style, or maybe actually for fun, we'll switch over to an intraday style that I have. This is a 45-day, 1-minute chart. So it gives me sort of a narrower look at a specific security. You can access those chart styles simply by clicking on these buttons. So quick tour here of the Workbench to show you a couple of those different corners and how you can start to work with your chart styles. But what we're talking about, again, is applying those chart styles to all the symbols in a list. So you can actually do that right from the SharpCharts Workbench. Now, as I mentioned, we've got a little bit of interface here at the top, which allows you to actually work with your lists. So you've got the saved chart here in the top menu. Here, we can actually see all 10 of those same symbols that we were working with before. Those are right here. Those are all of our saved charts. And we can pick a specific chart list. So in this case, we're looking at that tier 1 watch list. This allows you to change which chart list you're kind of working out of. Again, you can save charts here. You can update charts here if you wanted to save the name. You can even delete charts. And if you click View All or Edit List, that'll actually jump you back to some of those chart list views that we were looking at before. So from this page, the other quick control that you have is the ability to flip through all the charts in a list. So when you create a list, you save a bunch of symbols into it. You've got that right here. And if we wanted to start flipping through this list, well, you can see that all we have to do is make sure we've got the right list, the right save chart selected, and then we can use these arrow buttons to actually toggle through that list. So we can flip through that list kind of like we were doing with Chartbook and with 10 per page a little bit earlier in the show. So here we are on the Workbench. We're working with that exact same list, that same group of symbols. You can see that we've reset everything to kind of the chart style that we were using at the very beginning of the show. So things should look familiar. But let's go through that same exercise. Let's say we wanted to reset everything in this list to a different chart style. Again, maybe we want to use that Bollinger Band style. Well, there's actually a way to do that right from the Workbench. You don't have to jump over to that edit page and kind of go through a couple of steps as we did before. When you scroll down to the bottom of this page, as long as you make sure that you are in the right list and you've got a specific chart style up on the screen, you can actually use a button down here at the bottom of the Workbench. There's a little section called ChartLists, and you can see you have this option to apply the current chart style to all of the charts in the selected list. Now, this is a bit of a dangerous button. I'll give everyone a heads up, because when you hit that button, it's going to ask you if you're sure, but once you hit it, it's going to change the chart style for everything in that list. So the edit page is a little more protected because you got a couple more steps that you got to go through. Here on the Workbench, you have that same option, and it's a little bit quicker, as you'll see in just a second. But I do want to give everyone a fair warning. This button is pretty dangerous because it can sort of sweep through an entire list and change everything right out from under you. So just be aware. But what we're going to do, we're going to open up this chart styles menu. We're going to jump back over to, let's use that Bollinger Band style again. So here we are. We've got our Bollinger Band style. We've put that up on the screen. Now we're going to go back down to the bottom. We're going to apply that style to everything in the list. Here's that confirmation message. Are you sure that you want to make this change to all the charts in that selected list? I'm going to hit OK. And it says, do you want to change the period for all of the charts? So if you have different charts in this list that actually use different periods, this will kind of overwrite that. So again, this is a bit of a dangerous button, but if you know what you're doing, it's a very, very powerful button. So I'm going to hit OK. And now what we can see, things have kind of just flashed on the screen, but behind the scenes, we've actually gone in and changed the chart style for all of the charts in this list. Once again, just like we did before. So if we go back up, we'll start at AutoNation again. When just a couple of minutes ago, we were looking at this AutoNation chart, and again, it had that original style that we were using with price relative, a couple of moving averages, and then the RSI down below. You can see that now this AutoNation chart, which is saved in this list, has that Bollinger Band style. So it's really, really easy to change everything, and we can flip through this list. We can take a look at this in a couple of different flavors. Now we're flipping through this entire chart list, and everything in it has that new style. And again, if we want to go back, we can get back to that chart style that we were using before. We can load that up on the screen. We can go back down to the bottom, apply that style to all. I'm going to hit those 2 confirmation messages. And now we've done the exact same thing. We've applied that other style to everything in the list. So you can see that actually working from the SharpCharts Workbench, it's a little bit quicker to make these changes to all of the symbols in a list. So again, if you've got, let's say, your portfolio loaded into a chart list, you make sure that that's selected here from the SharpCharts Workbench. You can actually sort of apply these styles to all of the symbols in your portfolio and basically flip through different sort of charting views. Now you can also do this if you want. It will sort of erase your annotation. So again, be careful, but you could even do this with different periods. So we can actually take a look at how to do that right now. Here, we're looking at a daily chart. So this is a daily chart. Let's say we wanted to take everything in this list and we wanted to load up a weekly chart. We wanted to look at a longer term view. Well, we can actually open up this menu. We can see that I have some weekly styles saved here. So we'll jump to our level 3, what I call my level 3 weekly chart. Now we can see that we're looking at a longer term view. We have actually some similar indicators on here. This is a relative strength line, but you can notice that this is now a weekly chart. So we've got different moving averages. We've got that RSI still, but we've got a couple of other indicators at the bottom. But you might, if you've got good eyes, you might be seeing that this is actually a 5-year chart. So we're looking at a longer term view. Let's say we want to take all the symbols in that list, and instead of looking at everything on the daily chart, let's say we wanted to look at everything in that list from a weekly perspective. Well, we've pulled up our weekly chart now. We're going to go back down to the bottom, hit apply style to all, and there we go. Now we're looking at Equifax here with the weekly view. And if we keep flipping through this, now we're looking at HP with that weekly view. So this is actually an easy way to sort of move between time periods as well. And we could jump up to a monthly chart. We could jump down to an intraday chart. So there are tons and tons of different ways to utilize this feature, applying those different chart styles and those different settings to a list. Now, I do also want to mention here from the Workbench, one other cool thing that you can do actually with this apply style to all button, if you make changes to a chart right here on the Workbench and you apply that style to all, you don't actually have to save the chart style to apply it to all using this button, if that makes sense. So let's say, for instance, we took off the scooter line, and let's say we replaced that with a rate of change indicator just to switch this chart up a little bit. So here we've now made a change on the Workbench to this chart. We've replaced the scooter line with rate of change. And if we hit that apply style to all button, once again, we go through those 2 confirmation messages. Well, now we've actually applied this new style that we're kind of creating on the fly, this new group of settings to everything in the list. So if we flip over to Lennar, for instance, and we scroll down, we can see that now we have a rate of change on that. So I didn't actually have to save a chart style into my account that uses these settings. Here from the Workbench, if you're using this semi-dangerous but super powerful apply style to all button, you can actually apply settings that you haven't actually saved into a chart style. So another little feature that you have available to you there. So hopefully that gives you a great sense of how you can start to work with some of these SharpCharts, chart lists, and your chart styles here in SharpCharts. And again, with either case, if you want to look at things in the sort of the chart list world, you want to use things like 10 per page or Chartbook, you can use that edit page to apply different styles, and it's really, really easy. A couple of quick clicks and you're done. If you're working on your charts and your lists and all your saved symbols from the SharpCharts Workbench, it's also really, really easy to do that. Arguably even easier to do it from the SharpCharts Workbench, actually. So makes it very quick and easy to apply those different styles to everything in a list. Again, I find this is great for portfolio work when you want to sort of view everything that you own in a couple of different perspectives from a couple of different angles. Also great for watch lists, also great for market evaluation lists. If you want to have different chart styles, different ways to view some of those indexes, things like that, bringing in different sets of indicators and different overlays, that kind of thing. It's really nice to be able to apply those styles and just kind of flip between styles within a chart list without having to go and manually type in any symbols. You can just click, 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 and there you go. You apply those styles to everything in the list. So with our SharpCharts work out of the way, let's jump over to ACP and show you how you can actually do some of this stuff over there. Very similar concepts, so we're going to fly in ACP because we're really covering kind of the same ideas. But all of this stuff is available over in ACP as well. So we'll jump over there now and take a look at how it works in that other platform. So here we are in ACP, our new interactive advanced charting platform. Dynamic, fluid, lots of things that you can do. This is something that we've covered on the show in great detail. Lots that we've been doing with ACP with plugins and new features, lots happening in this world. But there's a lot of similarities between SharpCharts and ACP. We've taken all that SharpCharts knowledge from the last 21 years of StockCharts history, and we've tried to bring that into this more sort of dynamic, fluid, modern charting experience that we're building here in ACP. A lot of the concepts though carry over. Things like ChartStyles, things like ChartLists, all of those exist in ACP as well. So in either case, either platform, whichever one you like, you can sort of cross over between the two worlds, and the terminology, the ideas, some of the concepts should be pretty familiar to you because they're very, very similar worlds, just kind of different chart styles, if you will. Well, I'm kind of abusing that word, I guess, but different sort of chart types, whether you want that more static chart experience or that more fluid chart experience. You've got those two options now with SharpCharts and ACP. So we're going to run through a similar concept here in ACP, talking about applying your chart styles to everything in a list. Now, to give you a quick tour of ACP without going into too much detail, over here on the left side, you've got your chart settings. This is actually where you come to add indicators to your charts, but you've also got this sort of rundown here. We call this the chart skeleton or the chart settings menu. This shows you what you have on this chart, where everything is positioned, everything you've added. You can actually drag and drop these features around, or you can simply click on the labels to drag those indicators up and down. Your chart styles, though, exist under this little paintbrush icon. So when you open that up, you can see all of your saved styles here in the top menu. You can even filter that. But when you close that down, I've got a ton of styles, so that's why my menu is huge. We've also got lots and lots of predefined styles for you as well. So lots of samples in here. You can see even some things based on some of the charts that I use, like that Bollinger Band style. We've got that moving average focus style in here under samples as well. Strategies, time frames, trading styles, lots and lots of things that you can play around with here. But if you're interested in saving chart styles to your account in ACP, all you've got to do is set that chart up exactly as you want it using this chart settings menu. Then jump over to the paintbrush icon, come down to the bottom, hit save chart style, and it's going to be really easy to save that as a new chart style. This is also how you update existing chart styles. So if you make changes to a specific style in ACP, you can come over here, hit update existing, select the one that you want to update, and it's really quick and easy to do that. Now, once you've created some of those styles in ACP, the same concepts apply. You can create chart lists in ACP, which you can actually do in two different locations in the platform. We've got the first one open on the right. You can see that at the very top of the platform, we've got our little chart lists icon. When you open that up, you can actually create chart lists in ACP. Now you can also, by the way, load in all of your SharpCharts chart lists in ACP. All you've got to do is click that SharpCharts tab, and actually all of your SharpCharts chart lists that you've created kind of in the other world, those are actually for you here in ACP as well. You can basically get ACP versions of all your saved SharpCharts. So that is one little trick. One nice way to actually get kind of up and running with ACP really quickly. If you're coming from the SharpCharts world, you want to explore ACP, or if you want to take advantage of some of the features like plugins, for instance, some of the different data views, multi-chart layouts, all that good stuff, you can actually come over to ACP, load in your SharpCharts chart lists in just a single click. It's already there for you basically. And so you can select any of those saved charts and get basically ACP versions of them. So we talked actually last week about that a little bit more, but once you're ready to kind of make the switch over to ACP, if this world excites you, you like this kind of interactive charting experience, you can start to actually create your own ACP specific chart lists. The same concepts apply. You're saving symbols into those lists. You're saving chart settings with them, chart styles with them as well. So in this case, I've actually got that same tier 1 watch list in ACP as well, because I kind of use both platforms. So I've got that exact same watch list, our same group of 10 symbols here in an ACP chart list. So you can view those chart lists right here. You can also view your chart list though in the drawer, what we call the drawer at the bottom of the screen. So you can open up this space, and this actually gives you access to a couple more views. This is similar to what we were working with there in the SharpCharts world, where we had 10 per page, and Chartbook we had the edit page. We've got those same concepts here in ACP. So this is actually going to be our first stop on today's little tour of how to apply these different styles to everything in an ACP list. So I'm going to actually come over here to the drawer, and we've got our tabs here. You can see summary, chart comments, list notes, and edit. And if I look at all of the symbols that are in this list, I gotta actually get over to the right list. Here we are. Now we're in our tier 1 watch list. We've got all those same 10 symbols that we've been working with on today's show. We're here on the edit tab, and we can do a very similar thing. Let's say we've got a group of symbols that we've saved into a list here in ACP with a specific chart style. We can see that just to confirm it. If I click this chart, now we're actually looking at this saved chart. We can actually make this just a touch smaller so our charts are a little bit bigger. You can see this is the saved style. Very similar to what we were working with before. We've got that relative strength line at the top. We've got the RSI at the bottom, a couple of moving averages, and that is saved actually into all of the charts in this list. So I can flip through the charts in this list by clicking on these little arrows or by clicking on the symbols, and you can see that all of those use this same chart style. Now, if we wanted to apply a different chart style to everything in this list, we just have to click the little checkbox there at the top. We scroll down, we can see that everything has been checked now. And this little floating row of buttons that should look very familiar to you because it matches that SharpCharts world, that now is sort of clickable. You can see that it got a little bit brighter. We can now click those buttons. So we're going to click that same paintbrush button, the same apply chart style to all button, give that a click. And now this little window opens and you can see apply one of your saved chart styles to all of the selected charts in this list. So we're going to go ahead and select one of our chart styles. Let's do, for instance, our Bollinger Band style. We'll go back, we'll do the same kind of thing. Well, we've done that. We get our little success message now at the top. And if we go back up, we click AN for AutoNation. You can see now we've got that same Bollinger Band style. It's been applied to everything in this list. And we can now start to actually flip through this list with that new style in place. Very, very cool. Very, very easy to do this. You can see just like the SharpCharts world, it's just a couple of clicks. And again, if we wanted to reset everything, it's really easy to do that. We can just give that a click, hit that apply style to all. And we can select the style that we were using at the beginning, go back to the top, and there we go. Now we're kind of back to the beginning, back to square one. So again, you can see the same concept applies here in ACP. It's really quite easy to apply those different styles and kind of flip through a list from different perspectives. Now, one of the little differences though in ACP is that we have something here that you might have actually seen me turn off when we got into the drawer. This is called our load symbol only checkbox. So I'm actually going to show how this works from over in the right side because we have the exact same thing. So we've got all of the charts in this list, and we've got those saved with a specific chart style. As we've been talking about, we got our price relative line up at the top, our RSI in the bottom, and a couple of moving averages in the middle. And again, if we flip through this list, all of the charts in this list use that same symbol. So let's say though, we wanted to take that concept of a different perspective, a different chart style, a different view, and we wanted to look at all the symbols in this list with a different view up on the screen. In ACP, especially with plugins, there are so many different perspectives you can bring in, so many new indicators, different tools that you can use, different visualizations. You can really get creative with your charts. So you might want to take advantage of some of those plugin indicators, for instance, that we've been creating from folks like Arthur Hill and Larry Williams and Mark Chaikin. You might want to take some of their work and incorporate it into your chart list, but without having to actually save everything multiple times, kind of flipping back and forth between chart styles as we've been showing off on today's show. So we've created something in ACP that we call load symbol only. What that means, when you check that, it means that when you click something from one of these lists, the only thing that we're going to pull into the center of the screen is the symbol. We're going to load the symbol only. Pretty intuitive. So if we change the chart style that we have up on the screen, kind of like we did in SharpCharts, if we change this to something like, we'll do our moving average focus chart actually. Here's that moving average focus chart that we were looking at before. And instead of having to actually go through and apply this chart style to everything in the list, if we wanted to view everything in this list with this chart style, we can just turn on load symbol only, either in the ChartList sidebar or down here as well in the ChartList drawer. You've got that option as well right there. And now when I click something from this list, again, it's only going to pull in the symbol. So it's going to take whatever settings I have in the center of the screen, and it's going to just pull the symbol into that screen, into the center there. So again, we can flip through this list. You can see that we can actually click through. We've even got a little arrow toggles right here. We can even use the keyboard if we wanted to do that. So it makes it really, really easy to flip through this list, and actually even faster because we didn't have to save that style to the list. Now, there are benefits to saving the style. If you want to draw annotations and then make sure those actually get saved, that's a great thing to do. But if you just kind of want to bring this view into play here with a group of symbols that you've saved into a list, this is an easy way to do it. Also, again, a great way to take advantage of some of those plugin indicators. So for instance, here we're going to jump over to a sample style that we have for the Go No Go plugin, a very cool style, very cool plugin that we just rolled out a couple of months ago. So let's say you wanted to take some of those plugin indicators that come with that plugin that you've purchased from Go No Go. We've got those up on the screen right now. And because we're using that load symbol only checkbox, we don't actually have to save this style to everything in the list to sort of see it with everything in the list. Again, we can do that sort of flip through method. We've got that load symbol only checkbox checked. And so now we can put that style up on the center of the screen, make sure that checkbox is enabled, and then we can flip through this list with this Go No Go style. You could do this with any of our plugins. You could also do this, for instance, with your SharpCharts chart lists here in ACP. Makes it actually really easy to do that. If we jump over to a different list that I have, for instance, we'll do my all positions list. Here we're looking actually now at a SharpCharts list. So a list that I've saved in the SharpCharts world. And because we have that kind of automatically pulled into ACP, we can actually turn that load symbol only checkbox on, and we can now view everything that I've saved into a SharpCharts chart list here in ACP with any style in the middle of the screen. So you can see that we're doing that now. We're flipping through actually a SharpCharts chart list with ACP tools. Very cool how you can do this. So with that load symbol only checkbox, you do actually have a lot of power to sort of apply these styles on the fly. It makes it even quicker than what we were looking at in that SharpCharts world. So hopefully that gives you a sense of kind of how you can start to incorporate some of these ACP tools. If you're working with ACP exclusively, this is a great trick, a great tool. I use this a ton with my chart lists. If you're a SharpCharts user, but you've been hearing about some of these plugins and you want to take advantage of some of the features that are over in ACP, this is a great way to do it actually. You can still save everything in that SharpCharts world, still keep all your lists over there, but jump over to ACP and just kind of review things from that other perspective. Bring some of those tools into your SharpCharts list there with that load symbol only checkbox and your lists right there in ACP. That is our show for today. I know we covered a ton. Hitting both worlds always creates a longer show, but hopefully this gave you some great tips, great ideas for how to work with your chart lists and your chart styles. Again, when I think about the most important tools and features on StockCharts, ChartList and ChartStyles are at the top of the list, pun intended. Those are two of the most important things that you have access to as a StockCharts member. So I want to thank you again for joining me. Remember, we do this show every Friday, ultimately just here to help you get more value out of StockCharts. So if you've had a fun time with me today, join me next Friday. We've got another edition of the show. As always, every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the live channel, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of ways to watch. My name is Grayson Roze, though, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's been good to sit down with you and talk about these two powerful charting tools, talk about some of the ways to get more value out of those. Always fun when we get to hit both worlds, sort of compare and contrast SharpCharts and ACP. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a big user of both. So some of these ideas that we're sharing here today, showing you how to sort of jump between worlds, hopefully have given you a lot to play with. I do want to remind everyone before I let you go, holiday special, StockCharts.com/special going on right now. Just a couple more weeks to get those 2 free months of StockCharts. So if you're a member, definitely extend your membership now. This is the time to do it. If you're a free user, you've been thinking about signing up, now is the time. You can get some of our best pricing of the year. So visit StockCharts.com/special to take advantage of that before it's gone. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you again very soon. But until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.